Welcome to our deep dive into the life of Ratan Tata, the visionary architect who redesigned modern Indian capitalism. Born in 1937 into the illustrious Tata family, his early life was shaped by the difficult divorce of his parents, an event that brought significant social scrutiny in mid-negative 20th century India. He was raised by his grandmother, Lady Nawajbai Tata, who instilled in him a permanent sense of dignity and stoicism in the face of adversity. Interestingly, Ratan originally studied architecture and structural engineering at Cornell University, which provided him with a unique systems thinking mindset. This background allowed him to visualize the big picture and the structural integrity of a project before execution began. When he returned to India, he did not start in a corner office. Instead, he worked on the shop floor of Tata Steel for 6 years. Shoveling limestone alongside blue-collar workers gave him a visceral understanding of the dignity of labor and the realities of manufacturing. This blast furnace education later manifested in his deep empathy for employees and his refusal to lay off workers during downturns. His early leadership was tested at Nelco, where he experienced the limitations of operating within the restrictive license Rajesh. By 1991, he was ready to succeed J.R.D. Tata as chairman, just as the Indian economy began its historic transformation. Taking over in 1991, Ratan inherited a conglomerate that was essentially a loose collection of independent fiefdoms. These companies were run by powerful operational heads known as Satraps, who often operated independently of the central Tata Sons holding company. Ratan realized that for the group to survive global competition, he had to centralize power and unify the brand identity. He masterfully introduced a uniform mandatory retirement age policy, which served as a bloodless way to phase out the old guard. He also implemented a brand subscription fee, asserting that the Tata name belonged to the holding company, Tata Sons, to prevent hostile takeovers in a liberalized market. He systematically increased Tata Sons' shareholding in key group entities. This period of consolidation was met with intense media criticism and internal rebellion from the entrenched leaders. However, his steely resolve transformed the group into a modern, centralized powerhouse during the 1990s. Under his chairmanship, the group's revenues eventually grew over 40-fold and profits over 50-fold. He demonstrated that traditional business houses could grow exponentially without ever abandoning their moral compass. Ratan Tata's most daring move was shifting the group's focus from domestic dominance to global expansion. This strategy of reverse colonialism began in 2000 with the landmark acquisition of Tetley tea. It was the first time an Indian company performed a leveraged buyout of a foreign brand significantly larger than itself. In 2007, he led the $13.1 billion acquisition of Tata Steel, making Tata Steel one of the world's largest producers. Although the 2008 financial crisis made the Coros deal difficult, Ratan defended it as a necessary step for modernization and scale. His greatest triumph, however, was the 2008 acquisition of Jaguar Land Rover JLR from Ford. This was deeply personal for Ratan, as Ford executives had reportedly insulted him years earlier when he tried to sell them his struggling car division. In a stunning reversal, Ford was the one seeking a big favor from Tata during the global financial meltdown. Ratan's strategy for JLR involved granting management autonomy and investing heavily in new research and development. Today, JLR stands as a global success story and has served as a primary profit engine for Tata Motors. Ratan's legacy is also defined by his commitment to indigenous innovation and homegrown manufacturing. He launched the Tata Indica in Ichenju, which broke the glass ceiling as India's first fully indigenous passenger car. Despite early engineering flaws and ridicule from critics, his direct intervention led to the successful Wi-Fi update. This ambition culminated in the Tata Nano, a visionary project designed to provide safe transport for the masses. Inspired by seeing a family of four dangerously balanced on a scooter in the rain, Ratan promised to build a car for just Indulu laugh. The project was an engineering marvel, securing over 10 patents for its unique frugal innovation. However, violent political protests in West Bengal forced the group to abandon their nearly complete factory in Singar. In a legendary move, he relocated the entire project to Gujarat, following a one-word welcome SMS from the Chief Minister. Sadly, the Nano failed commercially because it was marketed as cheap rather than affordable, which hurt consumer pride. While production eventually ended, the Nano remains a symbol of Tata's commitment to social innovation over pure profit. Ratan Tata's leadership was perhaps most defined by his conduct during high-stakes crises and ethical dilemmas. During the 2008 and 26/11 terror attacks, he stood outside the burning Taj Mahal Palace Hotel to personally oversee rescue operations. He later established a welfare trust that paid the full salaries of deceased employees for the rest of their lives. This compassion extended beyond employees to all victims, including police officers and passers-by at the site. On the ethical front, he famously refused to pay a bribe to launch an airline, even if it meant losing the business for decades. However, the most controversial moment of his later career was the 2016 ouster of his successor, Cyrus Mistry. Friction arose when Mistry tried to shut down legacy hotspots, like the Nano that Ratan viewed as emotional and social commitments. The board removed Mistry in a swift meeting, leading to a protracted legal battle over corporate governance. The Supreme Court eventually ruled in favor of the Tata Group, confirming the sovereignty of the Tata Trust. This episode highlighted Ratan's ruthlessness when he believed the core values or long-term viability of the institution were at risk. To truly understand Ratan Tata, one must realize he acted as a custodian rather than a traditional owner. The majority of profits from the Tata Group flow into the Tata Trust, which own about 66% of Tata Sons. Under Ratan's leadership, these trusts shifted from simple charity to strategic philanthropy with measurable results. He pioneered a distributed cancer care model to bring world-class oncology treatment to rural parts of India. After retiring, he reinvented himself as a mentor and angel investor, backing over 50 startups to support young entrepreneurs. He invested in companies like Ola and Paytm, looking for passion and integrity over mere financial projections. His personal passions were equally diverse, ranging from being a licensed pilot to a dedicated animal lover. He famously ensured that stray dogs were welcome in the lobby of the Tata Group's global headquarters. His final major project was a state-of-the-art animal hospital in Mumbai, born from his own love for his pets. Ratan Tata was like a master architect who didn't just build a corporate empire, but designed a compassionate ecosystem where profit serves the people.